Good evening. Welcome back to From Day One. We continue with the truck, the dog, and everything crazy down in Texas.
Where he made his appearance and it hadn't happened. And for him to sit here and claim that it's a therapy dog, he doesn't even have it. It's in Oklahoma.
Don't shift into argument from objection here. I just wanted to understand if I'm reading this injunction correctly.
You are,
My
George.
reading of this is that it's his agreement that he's not going to keep possession of the dog away from Mrs. Laney. Am I reading that incorrectly, Mr. Haygood?
No, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
I don't have any further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Clark, any follow-up? All right.
Ma'am, you've had the opportunity on at least 2 or 3 occasions in the past couple of months to press charges against Mr. Laney, haven't you?
Correct.
And you've chosen not to do so because you don't want to escalate tensions during this divorce, correct?
Correct.
And ma'am, likewise, last week, we expressed to Mr. Haygood that if this continued, we would seek a protective order against Mr. Laney for his harassing, abusive, and threatening actions, correct?
Correct.
Doesn't seem to have done any good, does it?
No, sir.
And ma'am, most of the way that you know of Mr. Laney and his actions is from the hundreds and hundreds of text messages and video messages that he sent you over the past few months, correct?
Correct.
Nothing further. Pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Haygood, anything else?
Not from this witness, Your Honor.
All right, call your next witness, Mr. Clark.
Good Lord, this is even worse. He's got an agreement that he's not supposed to take the dog. He's got all that he needs to win on any issue that's before the judge. John Laney, I feel sorry for him. I do, but he screwed everything up and should lose as a matter of law on all fronts. Those are the facts. So why are you asking your client if she's a 304? Come on, people.
Judge, I'd call Mr. Laney.
All right, Mr. Laney, it's your turn to testify. You are under oath. Tell me your full legal name, please, sir.
John Chance Laney.
All right, Mr. Clark, go ahead.
Mr. Laney, you heard JJ's testimony a few minutes ago, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain to the judge why it's necessary to call and text your wife more than 50 times a day? Why is that necessary, sir?
I love her more than anything in the world.
I got a question for you, attorney. Can you explain to me why it was necessary to ask your client if she's a hoe? we all make mistakes.
Sir, why is it necessary?
Hang on, let him finish. Hang on,
Oh,
Mr. Clark, you asked him why. I want him to finish his answer. Go ahead, Mr. Laney, and finish your answer.
Thank you, sir. I love her more than anything in the world. I don't love easy. And when I do, she saved my life twice. She kept me from losing my leg. And I love that woman more than anything in the world. That's my answer.
And you love her to the exclusion of anyone else, is that correct?
Repeat your question, sir.
So you love her and her only, is that correct?
That's the only woman I've ever loved in my life.
Well, sir, who is this woman from Pampa, Sabrina Adams Parker, that you're now running around with? You don't love her either?
Sweet Jesus. What?
Just a good friend? Okay. Sir, you threatened to beat.
I haven't seen this. I didn't see that coming. I didn't know he had a side piece. I give him credit. I didn't think he had it in him. Especially after that pathetic emotional display right there. Oh, here we go.
Her boss, Sam Stavanova, haven't you?
I don't believe I don't need to answer that question.
All right, he's asserted the fifth. Ask your next question.
Sir, you have threatened to last week in text messages that you were on your way to her house and you were going to fuck up anybody that was there, correct?
I did.
And sir, you've also told her
Choice.
several times that you're going to beat my ass for representing her, haven't you?
No, I didn't say that.
You've never said
I
that?
don't think it's right that me and you and her have went and had supper and you've come to our house and had drinks and now you represent my wife. I think that's a conflict of interest, but that's just me.
Do that on the same exact day that you went and took her vehicle away from her and took the dog away from her, that you also grabbed a pickaxe and punched holes in the bottom of your stock tank out back, correct?
No, sir, that is not correct. That happened months ago.
Okay.
Those dates are not correct.
Okay, so sir,
The day after
That's not correct. I mean, it all happened, but you have the time frame messed up.
we went to marriage counseling and she walked in there and did what she did. And then she told me and the counselor that I could have my dog. And I
objection
come down there to
non-responsive,
get
Your
my
Honor.
medicine and she didn't even give me all my medicine and Otis wasn't there. That's when that happened.
Okay, I'll sustain the objection. Ask your next question, Mr. Clark.
Sir, on the day that you took the truck and the dog from Ms. Laney at the French grocer, you told her you were just going to replace the key fob, correct?
I did.
So you lied to her, right?
I did.
And you've told her on a number of occasions since then that you're fixing up the truck and you're going to have it back to her, correct?
I'm working on it. It's getting worked on.
Objection non-responsive.
Well, I think it was responsive. I heard the response. Go ahead and ask your next question.
Sir, why is it necessary in this divorce for you to send pictures of sex toys to my client's elderly mother, the women from the Presbyterian Church in Sanderson, and 17 members of my client's family? Why is that necessary, sir?
I did not send it to their church. That is not true.
You didn't
I
send it
sent
to any of
her
the
mother
women.
and her family because there had never been sex toys in our house for all the years that we were married. And then the day her father dies, and she asked me to go home.
Objection non-responsive.
And I looked, my blood pressure was up and I.
All right, hold on, Mr. Laney. Hang on, Mr. Laney. Was it necessary? He gets to
That's
finish his answer. Mr. Laney, go ahead and finish your answer. You were just explaining why you did it.
Thank you, Your Honor. JJ asked me the morning that her father died. She said, I need hay for the mare. Will you go get hay? I said, yes, ma'am. I left right there at the hospital. I went to Fort Stockton and I bought hay and I went home and I unloaded it and I fed her. And I was feeling like I was thinking maybe I was having another heart attack. So I went in the bedroom where my blood pressure cuff is. And I opened the drawer and wow, that's where the sex toys there. I went in the other bedroom, they were out on the nightstand like it was decor. And that hasn't ever happened at our house. Then there was somebody else's toothbrush in the toothbrush holder. I knew it wasn't hers because she's like me, she cleans her toothbrush
Not decor, decor. It's so good.
real well, and it was all.
Objection non-responsive, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Laney, you may have gotten off track. You were explaining why it was that you sent pictures of those items to those other people, not why you think she had them, but why you sent pictures of them to other people. So do you want to answer that question?
Because her family kept on saying that I was the problem. I'm not the problem. I mean, we
All right,
have.
there's hold on. That's an answer. That's responsive. Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
And you find that to be helpful in concluding this divorce, is that correct?
I doubt it.
Sir, why is it you led us to believe that a month and a half ago you were going to be at the Marathon Justice Center with the truck and the dog to return those items to my client and you never showed up?
That's the first I've ever heard of it, Robert. I didn't know I was doing that. Can y'all show me where I agreed to that
How often do you and your lawyer talk?
weekly?
Hang on now, let's not go into attorney-client privilege communications here, Mr. Clark.
I'm not asking what he said. Sir, you're aware that Ms. Laney's mother, Ms. Robbins, recently lost her husband, right?
I was there the morning he passed.
Sir, that's not my question. You're aware that he died,
Yes.
correct? Why is it that you think it's appropriate to call her mom at the same times throughout the night that you call and text her? Why is it appropriate to call a recent widow at 2 and 3 in the morning and involve her in your divorce?
It's not.
It's not. So
Would
there's
you
that.
agree with me, Mr. Laney, that it's probably in the best interest of everybody involved here if any communications between you and Ms. Laney go through counsel only?
I do agree with that at this time.
Okay, and sir, even though we've had these injunctions and TROs in place on harassing behavior, why are we supposed to believe you now that you're going to immediately stop it now when you haven't been able to stop it in the past 2 months?
I have never seen the TRO. I have never seen anything.
Okay, sir, I'll leave that to you and your attorney to talk about. Where's the dog, Otis, right now?
I'm working in Oklahoma 1 week a month, and he's in Oklahoma right now.
Sir, the dog's been in Oklahoma pretty much for the last month, correct?
No, sir, he is not.
Judge, I don't have any more questions of this witness at this time.
Mr. Haygood, your witness.
Okay. Mr. Laney, got some questions for you. When was it that you moved out of your house there in Marathon, Texas?
Last week of April.
And since then, where have you been residing?
In Odessa. I was in Pio for a little bit, but I recently moved to Odessa, Texas.
And what type of residence are you in Odessa?
I'm in a RV park,
How much does it cost you per month to reside there?
$650 for the trailer park rent, and 600 and something for the trailer itself where we bought it,
So about 1,300 a month total.
just for them to, yes, sir.
Do you have any utilities there, like electricity, gas, water, anything like that?
That's included.
What about a vehicle that you drive? What do you drive, sir?
I have a company vehicle, and then I have a 2010 Dodge 1-ton dually that is currently in All-American Dodge. Last week it cost $1,200, and it's still in there.
Objection non-responsive.
All right, ask your next question.
Yes, sir. The 2017 Chevrolet Silverado we've been talking about, where is that vehicle right now?
It is parked at my house.
Is it in what you'd consider workable condition?
No, sir.
What's wrong with it?
The front end, the tires are separated. The two front tires are separated. Cords are broke.
Okay, then tow that thing over and put it in the driveway for her. That is the best solution here. There it is. You got it. Leave the keys.
It needs front end alignment. I took it to one of my customers earlier in the week, and he plugged his computer into it, and it has a
Objection
cold
non-responsive.
start. And
Hang on, I want to hear this. Go ahead, Mr. Laney. What was wrong with it according to the computer?
according to the computer, it had a cold start on the number 4 cylinder, and it could be a number. I asked him what it was. He said, he just had to get in there. It could be a number of things to fix it.
You
All
don't
right,
have a
let me
problem.
jump in. Let me jump in with a real quick question on that, Mr. Haygood, if I could. Mr. Laney, did you get an estimate for what those repairs were going to cost?
I haven't yet.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Haygood.
Once those repairs are made, you have no problem with Miss Laney having access to that vehicle, do you?
No, sir. I have texted her numerous times.
Objection, non-responsive after no, sir.
All right, ask your next question.
Do you know about how long it's going to be until that vehicle is repaired?
I've got to wait till Friday at least. I could put it in the shop now, but I get paid on Friday, but probably it'd take 4 or 5 days, I would imagine. I don't know.
Now, in addition to your bills that you've got there in Odessa, are you also paying some other community expenses?
I am.
What are you paying?
Miss Laney put credit cards in my name without me knowing it. I'm paying them off.
How many
And-
credit cards?
Pardon me?
How many credit cards?
2. And
What's the balances on those?
one of them is 0, and the other one is 1,000.
Probably.
And you can estimate, is it just over $1,000?
1,656.07 currently.
And what were those balances when you started paying on them?
That one was 2,500 over. She went over the credit limits, $2,550. And the other one was a couple hundred, but she has it set up on my account where they automatically draft that money out of my account. But I've been paying extra on every payday.
This is so frustrating. He's so wrong as a matter of law. He does so many stupid things, but she is absolutely using him. He needs. I'd like to represent him not for legal purposes. I'd like to get him in a private conference room and say, stop contacting her. Give her all this useless crap back. The only thing that's worth fighting about in this entire situation is Otis. That's it. And never talk to her again.
And that would be your Wells Fargo checking account?
Yes, sir.
Have there been any other expenses that Miss Laney incurred during the marriage that you've been paying on?
Yes,
What can tell those, explain that to the court.
that checking account is in me and my mother's name, nobody else's. She's wrote checks on it. She had Netflix coming out of it, all kinds of stuff that I didn't know about.
How much, if you had to estimate, was coming out of your account per month
I know I'm a softie.
based on her spending that you didn't approve of?
Objection, Your Honor, calls for speculation. Best
No,
evidence
select-
as well.
Well, I'm going to overrule the best evidence. I'm going to ask you to rephrase because he
I
has
know.
not said the last thing you said.
Him professing his love was honestly the worst part for me by a wide margin. It was so embarrassing.
Okay. How much, sir, would you estimate was coming out of your account based on charges she made?
I would figure around 1,200-1,500 a month.
Did you authorize her to make those charges?
No, sir.
What about expenses there at the house and Marathon that you're still paying? What are you still paying?
I just put insurance on our house a couple weeks ago. And I know they're paying the electric, I believe.
There's no chill in this situation, Letha. None. This is a zero chill scenario.
Coming out.
Can you continue to make those payments right now, sir?
Yes, sir.
What payments can you not continue to make based on your current income?
Objection assumes facts, not in evidence. And leading.
Oh, no. So the question was, what bills can you not afford to pay based on your current income?
That is correct, Your Honor.
I'll allow him to answer that. Go ahead, Mr. Laney.
And I need to sell that white pickup, the 17. I need to get that out from under, get it out of the picture so I can get this debt paid off so I can buy me and Otis a house.
With regard to the dog, tell me about how the dog was purchased, sir.
The dog was purchased. I don't know if I can see that. That was Ace.
But don't show us anything, sir. When did you purchase the dog?
4 years ago.
And when that was purchased, was it purchased as a gift for Miss Laney?
No, sir. It was,
Was it purchased as a family pet?
it was purchased because this one died and I wanted to.
Sir, are you currently seeing a doctor for mental health treatment?
I'm seeing a counselor.
Has that doctor recommended that you keep Otis for therapy reasons?
Objection. Calls for hearsay. Assumes facts
That's
not known.
sustained. That is sustained. It is hearsay.
Would you like to keep Otis for therapy reasons, sir?
I would.
And you're not opposed to having an order from the court in place requiring any communication between you and Mrs. Laney to go through counsel, are you?
No.
So the only thing that we are disagreeing about here really is what's going to happen with Otis.
Correct.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Mr. Clark.
Briefly, Judge. So, sir, you're nice enough to allow her to drive the truck that she's been driving the past year, correct?
Sure.
Admirable. Okay. During your marriage to
Pull back the snark. He's paying for all of it, you jackwagon. Here's where Lane is bothering me. I would cram this down his throat on redirect. Bad. It would hurt.
Ms. Laney, sir, you lived in San Angelo for about a year, correct?
I did.
Otis didn't live there with you. It lived back with Ms. Laney, correct? Yes or no, sir? The dog lived back in Marathon with my client, correct? And sir, as to the condition of the white truck that you said's basically inoperable now, it operated well enough a month and a half ago for you to drive it from Marathon all the way up to Midland, Odessa area, didn't it?
No, it really didn't. It's
drove-
dangerous for her to drive, but if she wants it, she can come get it right now.
But yet, sir, you did drive it back up to Midland, Odessa,
I
correct?
did. Yes, sir, I did. And
So if it's not an operable condition now, that's something that's happened since you've had possession of it, correct?
No, sir.
And sir, those credit cards you're saying that you didn't know that she applied for, those are the same credit cards you buy all your knife making materials on, correct?
I don't know where I put money in my Wells Fargo account and she had PayPal. I don't know where it come from.
Objection non-responsive.
That's sustained. Ask it again.
Sir, those credit cards you stated that she opened up, one of which has a zero balance, and one that you said has a little over $1,000 balance. Those cards, you use those all the time, do you not, to buy knife making materials, correct?
I didn't even have access to the cards. I don't know what she used or what she did not use.
I'm going to take that as a no to your question, Ms. Clark.
There's some charges on there from the treasure chest.
Yeah, Judge, I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Haygood?
No further questions, Judge.
All right, one moment. Mr. Laney, you said you go for 1 week a month to Oklahoma. When's that next 1 week that you go to Oklahoma?
Probably next week.
All right, I have no further questions from Mr. Laney. Thank you, Mr. Laney. Mr. Clark, call your next witness.
Nothing further, Judge.
Oh, it was good.
All right, petitioner has rested. Mr. Haygood?
We have no additional witnesses, Your Honor. We'll rest as well.
All right. Hey. As you all know, this is a request for temporary orders. That means this order will remain in effect until the parties agree otherwise, until I order otherwise, or until this case is resolved. Now, with respect to the 2017 Silverado. Mr. Clark, you will confer with your client and find a mechanics shop that your client is comfortable with. And I will direct Mr. Laney to have the
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I was hoping for them to drag in a string of pearl clutchers, talking about how dismayed they were with getting the dildo pics.
vehicle and all key fobs
That would have been brilliant.
delivered to that location in the Midland, Odessa area where the vehicle can be inspected. I'm going to direct Mr. Laney to put $2,000 into to send that to Mr. Clark. And he's going to do that twice in the next 30 days. That $4,000, Mr. Clark, is to be held by you for purposes of repairing the vehicle. It will be solely under Mrs. Laney's control as I am awarding possession of that vehicle to her at this time. Mr. Laney, you are not to make any additional changes or modifications to that vehicle as of this moment. You are simply going to take it immediately to the location that Mr. Clark notifies Mr. Haygood Mrs. Laney has selected. After any necessary repairs, I'm not talking about maintenance, I'm talking about repairing it so that it's drivable. Any balance on the $4,000 will be paid back to Mr. Laney through Mr. Haygood. With respect to Otis, I'm directing that Otis will be delivered to Mrs. Laney on August the 6th. I'm going to ask council to communicate in a way that that can be done without Mr. Laney going to Mrs. Laney's residence or any other prohibited location under the temporary injunction. Mr. Haygood, go ahead.
You
Did I
said
say
August 6th.
October?
Okay,
I'm sorry, October. I clicked the back arrow instead of the forward arrow on my calendar. So
that's fine, Your Honor. I just wanted to make sure that we got that cleared up.
I'm glad you did. 1 week after Friday, the 29th of September is October the 6th, and October the 8th is that Sunday. So I'm going to give him time to get all of the dog's things together and deliver the dog to Marathon. You can ask your lawyer in just a minute, sir, at a location that is agreed to by counsel. All right, I'm going to direct that the parties shall only communicate through our family wizard. I think that is a good way to keep a nice consistent log without overwhelming counsel. I don't want either one of you getting text messages all throughout the night or phone calls. So rather than having communications go between you, I'm going to order that the parties will subscribe to our family wizard. Mr. Laney's behavior has made that necessary. He will pay the cost of that subscription for the parties. And I'm ordering that the parties are to communicate only through the Our Family Wizard app. Your lawyers will explain to you what that means and how it works. Start with you, Mr. Clark. Do you need any clarifications or additional orders?
Judge, if I might request one additional mutual injunction that neither party shall contact any member of the other party's family absent an emergency or at an unreasonable time or method, that would be greatly appreciated by my client.
Mr. Haygood?
I would hope that such an injunction wouldn't be necessary, that the laws we have in place against telephonic harassment or electronic harassment would be sufficient.
But
All right, what
apparently
I'll do
they have
is
not been.
I'll make that I'll approve the request. I think that's reasonable under the circumstances I've heard here today.
Okay.
Clark, any other requested clarifications or additional orders?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I believe that has everything we need.
Mr. Haygood, what about you?
Yes, Your Honor. When is the first payment of $1,000 due?
Of October, I believe. That would be not the current payment upcoming, but the next payment after that. So we'll say the first Friday. Yeah, that would be the next payment, October the 6th.
Okay.
A like payment due each month thereafter?
That's correct. Every other payday.
Okay, got it, Your Honor.
Assuming that it isn't, well, no, let's just say that every other payday. That's fine.
Yeah,
Makes it easy. All right, Mr. Haygood, any other clarifications or additional orders?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I'm
One
rendering that
additional, Your
decision.
Honor.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Clark.
When is our family wizard supposed to be set up by? Do we have a date in particular on that?
It doesn't take long.
I understand.
All right.
So perhaps by Saturday of this week.
End of the day, Friday on the 22nd.
Yes,
By
Your
end of the day, I mean business day, by 5 o'clock PM Central Time, Friday, September 22nd.
Very
For
good.
our family. All right, I'm rendering that decision and it is so ordered. For the two of you, what that means is those orders are in effect at this time, the same as if I had signed a written document, even though I haven't, because each of you is here and has heard my announcement. Your lawyers will talk to you about how you will comply. And in the meantime, Mr. Clark will prepare a temporary order in conformity with the court's ruling. He will circulate it to Mr. Haygood. They will approve as to form only, no need for the parties to approve as to content, as this was not an agreement. Get that to me and I will sign it when it arrives. All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I am going to order, well, no, I'm not. I'm going to direct counsel to discuss the possibility of mediation should it become necessary. There was testimony of the possibility of family violence, which would accept the parties from the mandatory mediation statute. But again, that is up to you, Mr. Clark. So I'm going to tell you that the court prefers before a final trial on any contested matter that the parties mediate. But at this time, I'm not going to render that as an order.
Understood, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. That concludes our hearing today. We are off the record and adjourned. You are free to exit at this time. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Oh, good Lord. That was truly awful. That was truly awful. I feel bad, but he brought it all on himself. He did every stupid thing he could, and he did it in text, and there was evidence of it, and he screwed everything up. But the order is, and I don't see how it can be any other way. But the order is, and I don't know the rest of the facts of this case. I don't, but they look to be beyond child raising age. So for reasons that I can't even begin to contemplate, they both work, and he gives her everything, including his dog. And I don't know. She has no obligations whatsoever. Now he does keep calling and texting her and doing crazy things, beating up their pool, taking the dog when apparently he had agreed not to. So I mean, he brought all this stuff on himself, but it's the result is incredibly one-sided, but you can't argue with it. He did everything to destroy his own position. So it's ultimately frustrating. That doesn't mean it wasn't a fantastic hearing, because it was a fantastic hearing. Thank you, Natalie D. I did part of it before. I really had fun with it a few days ago. It was last week or whatever. But then I was told by several people that I'd missed several good nuggets, and boy did I. Boy did I. That was a lot of fun. All right, it's good to be back. Thank y'all for coming out. I'll see y'all soon.
And with that, we will bring the night to a close. Please come on back tomorrow for more as we march along here for on day one. Have a good night.